I know, you're gonna say that I'm an idiot. Rule number 1 of dating over the internet, or an app in this case, is that you always meet in a public place, at least for the first time. You're supposed to make sure the other person isn't a serial killer before you give them your address. But that seems so prudish to me. I wasn't looking for a boyfriend. I was looking for some really good sex. The whole formal date thing seemed so unnecessary. A step that had to be taken by dumb people who weren't as good as I was in judging people's characters. And I was being pretty discerning because even if I only wanted sex, I had to be attracted to the guy. And that means he has to give me some good conversation before I'm going to decide to meet up with him. I don't know if you've ever been on a dating app, but this weeds out like 95% of the guys. They all have the same fantasy. They all want to show up at your door, fuck without talking. It's the whole stranger thing. You have to understand that I am not interested in that. It does nothing to turn me on. I tell them all straight up, I need to have some good rapport with them. I want to be treated like a human being and not some sex doll. So, we talk first. I invite him over. We watch Arrested Development. We start touching each other. We make out. Then we feel good enough to go to my bedroom. Maybe we watch some more Arrested Development after. God knows I don't like it when they run out the door the second the deed is done. He leaves. I go to bed. A good night is had by all. Jamie was supposed to be the same as all these other guys. I met enough people from the internet to feel pretty confident about my ability to weed out the psychos. I was consistently pleasantly surprised by the guys I invited over, who turned out to be respectful, fun, human beings who are usually pretty good at the sex stuff too. Jamie's pictures were so normal, I almost didn't even start a conversation with him. I thought he'd be too boring. He reached out to me after we matched. He asked me specific questions about some of the interests I listed in my profile. We hit it off. I thought I could sense he was a decent guy. He even seemed cautious about meeting me, which felt like a total green light. So, after 25 minutes of rapid fire back and forth, I invited him over to my one-bedroom apartment in an urban but residential neighborhood, about 30 minutes from where he said he lived out in the burbs. I was very nervous, but I always was. The little pit in my stomach I mistook for butterflies as I always paced back and forth a little bit, and sometimes even made a cocktail when I was trying to relax before a new guy came over. I tidied up my apartment, remade my bed, changed in some cute loungewear, and applied some I'm not wearing makeup. You girls know what I'm talking about. And then Jamie messaged me saying he was outside. I walked down to the front door of my building, and there was a man there who looked nothing like Jamie. The thing about being a woman is that pleasing people is in your blood. From a young age, you're taught that not being liked by a guy is the worst possible thing. No one tells you why this is so bad, or even what would happen that's so terrible about a guy not liking you. You just have this instinct to do it. It's hard to go against. So I saw this guy down there, and I had studied Jamie's Tinder photos for the last hour since we started talking. I knew it wasn't the same guy, and I was confused about it. But I also didn't turn around and go lock myself in my apartment. I did the stupid thing. I did the thing that women do, and I went down and opened that damn door and smiled at him, and I said, "You must be Jamie. I'm Lane," and smiled some more. I walked him up the stairs and into my apartment and told him he didn't need to take his shoes off. I'm not fancy. And then suddenly, I was alone in my apartment with a complete stranger. This guy was way skeezier than the photos. He looked rougher around the edges too. Not the clean cut, relatable bro I usually go for. He paced around my apartment, wanting to immediately see all the rooms and know what the layout was. His energy was so sporadic and frantic.
You've got a nice place here.
Thank you. Do you want to sit on the couch?
Why don't we just go to bed?
This was such a sleazy moment. I immediately knew I wasn't interested. Beyond whatever catfish move he pulled to lie about his appearance, this guy just didn't have any game. I'd rather talk for a little bit. Can we sit on my couch?
No, Lane. We're going to go to bed now.
He was leering at me, flexing some kind of unpleasant power he thought he had over me. Like what he had said was law, and that there'd be consequences if I didn't go along with his whims. And that's when I knew this night was going to be different. I said I was only interested in sex tonight, but here was this giant, rapey douchebag presenting himself like a gift with a fucking bow wrapped around it, begging for me to open it. He was a bad person. He probably did this all the time. He probably hurt people. So, I fucking killed him. It was fun to turn the tables. I told him that I'd give him a massage if he took a shower first. I'm kind of a clean freak, you know. It's so much easier to clean up when you confine most of the mess to the tub and tile. He got naked and climbed in the shower. I drew the curtain closed and told him I'd join him in a minute. I was going to go make us some drinks first. I went to the kitchen to get a knife, and I heard him singing in the shower. What a psycho. I wondered if he was ever afraid in the shower, the way I am sometimes, when the curtain is closed and you aren't certain what's going on in the outside world anymore. Women are trained to think this way. We realize our comprised senses because of the pouring water and the opaqueness of the shower curtain could be our downfall. We're always aware of when there's danger. He probably wasn't scared. He probably had no idea what it was like to fear what people might do to you constantly. I guess I'll never know. I read Susan Atkinson of the Mason family fame talking about what it was like to stab people once. She said it was like stabbing a pillow. Humans are surprisingly soft. You have to be quick with the first stab. Make sure they're mortally injured, especially when they're bigger than you. I always go for the side and make sure I get it in deep, the long way. There's no bone to stop you there. Once they stop fighting, that's when you can go for the heart. Although, I prefer to let them bleed out. If you miss and get their lung, they aspirate blood everywhere, and that is a bitch to clean up. Jamie was fun to kill. It was fun to see him be scared. It was fun to watch him die. and know that he was realizing what a wasted little life he led. No one ever makes a lot of noise. That's movie stuff. They just gargle and flop around. The big problem is always the body. I live in an apartment on the second floor, but it's quiet enough. No one's really in the hallway in the middle of the night, so into my extra large rolling duffel bag they go. They always fit. I slid the bag down the stairs and then roll it to my truck. The trick is that it's tall enough to use a lever, so you can kind of slide it in by pressing on the top first until the end lifts up off the ground. Then you just shove it in. The bodies then go into the river, and the suitcase gets burned. They're expensive though, so it's a pretty pricey operation. I'd find something cheaper if I wasn't so stuck on the need for utility. I'm trying to cut down on killing people. I know you think it's a bad thing to do, but try to be honest with yourself for one tiny minute. Ridding the world of pieces of shit like this is a net positive for all of us. I'm like a fucking secret superhero here. What people don't talk about when they say it's wrong to kill people is that fuckboys aren't really people, right? I just like doing it, to be honest. I like showing men what it's really like to be afraid. I'm trying to cut down though. I was really just looking for a hookup on Tinder tonight. Now I'm going to be scrubbing the bathroom instead. Maybe tomorrow I can find someone better. Hey guys, thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this video. I wanted to thank Nordic Vampire for lending his lovely voice as Jamie. I will place a link to his channel in the description box and also on the screen now. Please go and subscribe to his channel. You won't be disappointed. I will also leave a link to both of our Twitter accounts. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. Also, please like and comment on this video. All information regarding the author of the story, music, and pictures will be linked below. Thank you for your continued love and support. It means the world to me. And don't forget, I'll see you when the lights go.